2% talent, 8% luck. 90% showing up.
Just
every day.
showing up. There is if there is one thing that I feel is common to anyone who has a purpose, is that they just show up.
The
आज
right
नहीं
time.
हुआ कल होगा, आज नहीं हुआ कल होगा,
Yes,
but they show up.
that is my mantra. That opportunity knocks not once but 20 times. Hello,
Yeah,
नहीं हुआ कल तो कोई आज मिल रहा chance.
yeah. I
People ask
think
me, what are you
we
doing
are
now? I
live.
said, I'm
We
doing
start the
something.
session. I think someone's speaking to us.
Yes.
Kajal, please start the session. Yeah.
Kajal, are you there? Kajal?
We are live. Yeah.
Okay, let's start. Greetings. Welcome to another wonderful session of books, book reviews, discussions, talks, discussion with authors, readers, writers. So you don't like to read, no problem. You like watching videos, movies, visual storytelling. Watch us live now for a wonderful session with an author, co-author, Rita Ramamurthy Gupta. Rita, she hails from the marketing world, applies her knowledge of connecting with audiences through her writing. Her ability to bring pages alive with the lexical diversity that circulates cultures and timelines and grouping parenthetical narratives have created a unique imprint writing in English. She is credited with internationally acclaimed Red Dot experiment, a decade-nation study of how cultures impact communication. Her previous book, Rescript Your Life, also published by Rupa Publication. Rupa is also a multitasking mommy. She writes, she's a marketing person, a best-selling author, currently known for her intricate biographies of live and posthumous luminaries. Rita is also I used to write in the Economic Times and was also a columnist with the Huffington Post. Today, yes, it's the live author.
Thank you so much, Nina, for having me. Hi, everyone.
Welcome, Rita. Welcome. The book we will discuss today. She's the co-author, as she says, not the author, by Rakesh Prakash Mehra. We all know it's a biographical documented of the magical visual storytelling genius Ram Prakash Om Prakash. Sorry, he's Rakesh Om Prakash Mehra. And his success speckled with all his failures as he grew up from a very modest background to a filmmaker par excellence. A visionary who firmly believed in his dreams. Rakesh, he hails from the marketing. He started his career with marketing. His cinema is honest, socially conscious, very progressive. He has his own signature, is very powerful. He holds a mirror to the society. He has crafted portraits of conflict within our own culture, the behavior, the demonic and the angelic behaviors of human nature, all possessed by communal hatred, inherent imperfection that humanize superachievers. He has always been ahead of his times. Be his ad films, who has, I think no one has forgotten the fillet, shut it and forget it. A phrase that I have used many times with my washing machine, cooking in the pressure cooker, with the microwave. अरे microwave है ना क्या, just put it, shut it and forget it. वो अपने आप beep beep करता है ना. His genius is also, I think, he's a leader. Unlike others who doesn't lead, he doesn't march in front and says, follow me. I think maybe that's what makes him a leader with a difference, because people follow him. He builds a camaraderie which is unlike others on the film set, which reflects in his creative visual genius. the films which you see, and when I asked to think, it was a good movie that you saw, man. What was this guy thinking when he made this? But with Rang De Basant, it was. I mean, I think everyone who came out of the theater was like, what a film. क्या सोच के बनाया? How could he even? And a lot of films made, documentaries, serials on, what do you call, patriotism, And now आजकल तो खाली 15th August and 26 Jan पे बोलते हैं. But this movie was iconic, eye opener to
Yeah.
the youth, all the. So Rita, tell me, with so many biographies and biographies, everybody seems to be writing these days. So what made you who authored this book? I mean, you do write, and Rakesh is a living legend. What makes this different? What is magical? What makes this unique? And or just had to write.
Yeah,
How did it?
thank you so much, Nina, for those introductory words, and thank you everyone at Ahmedabad Book Club for having me. I think every biography, to start with, what makes it different is the story of the person, right? Each story is so unique, and I think the biographer has a duty, which is to not be the roadblock between the reader and the subject. So there is this subject who is telling you about their life, and the reader who picks up this book, for example, might be wanting to make a film, might be wanting to start a business, and they may feel, acha, let me figure out how did he do this. And they may be looking for inspiration, they may be looking for mentoring, they may be looking for guidance, and which is really what every biography is all about. Every biography has something for the audience to take away. And I think perhaps, to my mind, there are two things very unique about this. One is that Rakesh ji himself is a very unique person. And the second is that I think we wrote this book like he made Rang De Basanti. आगे पीछे जाते रहती है book.
I know. I noticed that. It's a biography, not like the others. It has wonderful anecdotes. It's every person who has been connected with him is a part of the biography.
Ji.
Be it Amitabh Bachchan.
We could have written this for 5 more years. We took almost 5 years to write it.
Because there's so many people who have worked with him and who he has worked with him, and I think is imbibed his wonderful qualities, especially from his mother. He is deeply influenced by his mother, who I think was a truly remarkable woman, like many Indian women.
Yeah.
Also to manage a house and keep it in abundance, let it flow in abundance, even with the meager resources,
Absolutely. So he has tremendous respect for every individual. I'm not saying that it's about men, women. Whenever he starts off on a relationship, he puts you at 100. Okay? He starts with 100. He imagines that you will do a great job of whatever it is that you're entrusted to do. And that respect that he offers becomes a responsibility. Because then you are bound to do your best. So he has that unique quality about not doubting people's competence at all. He trusts you 500% to do your job. And he gives every creator 100% freedom. I don't think he's asked me to change a single word in the book.
No?
Nothing. He just you wanted to ask me something that I hadn't said before. So here's the thing, he never wanted to change anything. When we were in copy edit, when final phases, जब book तैयार हो रही होती है, that 9-month period. He never looked at it again. He said, "Acha, words aap dekh lo. Let me see what visual elements they are adding now." So, he wanted to work on the cartoons, he wanted to work on the captions, but so much creative freedom. I'm so glad this is the first biography that has released, because it will set the standards, of course, for me and whatever I put out in the future. The next one, of course, is Ahmedabad's favorite son, Sanjeev Kumar. But the important thing really is that this is a very honest narrative, because the subject is a very honest man.
I think there's one thing about biographies, because you cannot but not be honest, because there's so many people who have been a part of your journey right from your childhood
Yeah.
to the current date, and they know lots. कहीं ना कहीं कोई तो बोले जाएगा, अरे क्या कह रहा है, what is she saying? ये तो हमने नहीं देखा, ये कब हुआ?
Yeah.
So these things make a difference.
Yes.
I have firmly believed, because when it comes to people who are working with, even in the office,
Yeah.
when you're young and you see, like Tata's is one thing, these employees, the work culture is such, everybody, when you meet the employees, the way they present and they talk to themselves, the language that you speak at home and the language in the corporate is very different. And you feel, I want to work with this company. So that is the same with every boss, it reflects in the people, because I have met many people who have worked with him during his ad film days.
Nice.
And I've seen their attitudes, the way they would talk to you, the way they would discuss, no airs. I said, they're working with the right person.
Yeah.
In flicks, long before he started films.
Right. In fact, Shankar Ehsaan Loy, we love their music. And they were also people who met him during, the advertising days. So, जब jingles compose करते थे, jingles की भी music होती है. So, these three used to compose jingles. And when I met Ehsaan ji, he said that Rakesh never told me what kind of music to create. He told me what was the situation and what is being said in the ad, what is the objective of the communication. And then he left us alone to do our job. He lets the experts do their job. It is such a great learning, because, by delegating at that level, he frees himself up to follow his purpose.
Yeah, I have noticed that with some people who have worked with him, he just says, okay, it's your project. Ye karna hai, and he knows, I think he assigns the work as per he has this insight, very, very far-sighted. He knows what the light person will do. This person can handle the lights. This person, the screenplay, the direction, the research. Because I've seen some of the research and I would ask the boys, क्या कर रहे हो यार? इतने स्क्वायर फीट का तुमको सेट चाहिए, इधर पेड़ होना चाहिए, इधर सेट बना, मेक अ सेट. यार तो हम रिसर्च किस लिए कर रहे हैं? ऐसा तुम ये सब करते हो? दो that's when I realized that दो तीन since yes, the search for location and he leaves it to them. So नहीं, मुझे राकेश को नहीं बोलता है. This was my first. That was many years back.
Nice.
So, the ones like me are not surprised. Maybe like
that you've also been part of the journey in some way.
Oh yeah, to see that Rang De Basanti or Bhag Milka Bhag, even Delhi Che. Delhi Che was, I think all his films are actually very simple. It's the way he puts it across that makes it so real. It's like it's happening around. ऐसा ही तो होता है,
Yeah.
That's how we live, and that's how we do think, be it the communal rights.
Yeah.
In Delhi Che, or the youth banter and the ideologies in Rang De Basanti, or the strange, in the acts. We all have a part of good and bad in us.
Yeah. And I think, it was Pablo Picasso that said, that everything you imagine is possible. And Rakesh ji is living proof of that. And that is why I think that, when we started the process of completing the book. Okay, my daughter actually asked me that, Mama, who should read this book? And I said that anybody who is starting out on their journey can read the book. Anybody who's experienced failure and wants to come out stronger can read the book. Anybody who wants to just get entertained can read the book. So I think there is so much, and I think honestly, I feel that we've just touched upon his life. There is so much more in him.
I was going to say that he still has so much more in him.
Yeah, Tufan is not in the book, for example. Tufan, which released recently and which was such a mega success for him, and again, it's such a sensitive issue. It is true, young couples in so many societies, when they are, inter-religious couples, they somehow don't find accommodation. They have all kinds of challenges. So when he captures all of that, when he captures the innate biases that we are not even aware of, and he's not blaming anyone for it, he's just showing the mirror. He's just telling you, are you aware that this bias could possibly exist within you? There's no preaching.
Yeah, it makes me wonder, why do people see a stranger in the mirror? Mirror shows the truth. We see our own self, the real self, in the mirror.
But don't we behave strangely at times? Don't we behave strangely at times? So say, for example, if you look back at a certain point in your life, and you may wonder, oh, was that me? Did I do that?
Because
there's always a stranger in the mirror.
We have some preconceived notions about the self, that how we like to perceive ourselves, and how I would like, reader to think of me. But that does not necessarily match with what Rita is actually thinking about me.
Yeah.
So that is, yeah. But we, would say that when you, Rakesh is not here, but maybe for both of you, like, are you really living those values? Is there a congruence between what you say is important and what you are doing?
Yeah, so I think one of the discussions, and we've had so many over the years, something interesting he tells me is that if it bothers you, then do something about it. Very few things bother us, because we've learned to live a certain way, follow routines, and be part of the journey of life. But then sometimes we pause and we wonder, अरे ये ऐसे क्यों हुआ? और ये ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए था. That is the starting point of all inspiration, when something bothers you. And yes, obviously, he is making cinema about things that bother him. I think one of my objectives here with the book also was that I wanted to talk about, the social impact of cinema, or even in a broad way, the social impact of any art. Why just cinema? I think Picasso was painting in times when, we did not have the internet. But still, when he showed his paintings to people, he had a message. So every art, every piece of art that has an impact on society is something or that makes society take action. Rang De Basanti in particular, it was so many youngsters don't remember or know what happened in the aftermath of Rang De Basanti. It served as a catalyst to social justice in the Jessica Lal case. I'm sure you remember.
Yes.
Here, suddenly, people realize that the only person to blame is us. क्योंकि हम एक्शन नहीं ले रहे हैं. Something is bothering us और हम एक्शन नहीं ले रहे हैं. So I think purpose, values, all of these are defined by what makes you take action, by what moves you enough to do something about it. And how many people do you inspire in the process?
I think that movie also brought in the impact of, peaceful candle march for justice.
Yes.
The youth, everybody, I too personally believe there's something wrong. But if you are keeping quiet and not doing and just talking, you are a part of the wrong.
Yes.
See,
Yes.
injustice is to be a part of injustice.
You know,
Say, if
I
you feel
had
it's wrong now, say it wrong now. Raise your voice, or else just forget it and don't comment on it.
hmm.
Be it
Yes.
Jessica Lal case or Reveals Arushi, so many, when people, social media,
डायलॉग है ना इस पिक्चर में कि कोई भी देश परफेक्ट नहीं होता, उसे बेहतर बनाना पड़ता है.
Betan Ban, I was going to say that. That is
So
a
this is,
very
yeah. So
let's catch.
if somebody can think like that, and if somebody can make an entire movie around the spirit of, more than patriotism, it's also integrity. See, patriotism it's interpreted in so many ways, but at least a word like integrity, where you do what you believe and you say what you believe, those are ideals that our country has cherished for generations. And I hope that a lot of that a lot of that mindset, I hope that we've channeled into the book.
It has people, all the movies that he makes.
Ji.
I think for people, I think you've already, I was going to ask that, what genre is the book or the author's purpose for writing, I think it's for everybody.
Yes.
For people, like all the
Absolutely.
biographies of successful men, what makes
Right.
them tick and what makes them
Right.
be the person they are, the legends.
Yeah. And, if you read, I'm sure that, a lot of the people don't realize that resources, right? So, ऐसा नहीं होता है कि when you start making a movie, you actually have the finance for it or anything at all. So here is a man who came from very humble origins. And it's not that he had the money to dream the dreams he was dreaming, but then he backed himself up to dream big. In fact, Akskana, he has written very nicely. She was sharing with me that he was shooting an ad film और उसमें से थोड़े बहुत पैसे बन जाते थे तो अक्स की एक स्केड्यूल निकल जाती थी. And he kept doing that. He was making thoda money and shooting Aks along the way. And he was like, there was no need for me to do it. I was a very successful ad filmmaker. I
Very
could have
good.
got a bigger house, a bigger car, the things we do when we believe we have arrived. But then just his purpose was greater.
I think that's what sets him apart from my reading and about his about all the people, even Mr. Bachchan saying, that
Yeah.
French beer. I didn't know it was designed
Yes.
by Rakesh for yes. I read that for Ux, and he
Yes.
has never ever. It's become his trademark. We cannot imagine Amitabh Bachchan without his white beard, French cut beard now.
Yes.
It's become as a part of his persona, like.
Yes.
Or Prahlad ka, everybody knows the genius of Prahlad.
Totally,
He's,
totally. And Bharti, Rakesh ji's wife. I'm sorry, I'm on
yes.
some. This light just keeps. It is some
Yeah.
sensitive light. So
Okay. What you can do is put something under your seat so you're in a high level that will cover the. You
no,
can
I'm
raise
okay.
yourself a little.
As I move, it comes on. When I'm still, it goes off. So
No, but if you're on a little higher, it's okay. It's not disturbing actually.
yeah,
Nothing
yeah.
wrong with it. It's
So
spreading a wonderful
both.
aura. It's spreading a wonderful halo around you.
Thank you. So both Rakesh ji and Bharti, his better half, have
Much
trained
better
under
half.
Jairam sir. Yes.
Because I was reading about Bharti because it's usually the wives. When things go wrong, no matter what they say, all the gold, they are not really willing to mortgage the property because they तो fear कि अरे घर भी नहीं रहा तो कहाँ रहेंगे बच्चे कहाँ जाएंगे. And she
Oh,
said
there
no.
is
She
no
believed
fear.
so much in him. Mortgage the house आ जाएगा. That belief. and served him very, very, very well.
You know, it's a book for couples. Now that you tell me,
Right.
it's a book for every couple. You know, because you remove
Mm.
fear out of the equation, and then there's only possibility,
When
which
you're
is,
married, it's
you know, the one of the people I spoke to for the book, Juku ji. His name is Rajat Dholakia. He's a national award winning music director, and he told me ki, where will you find a wife like Bharti who says घर बेच तो चलेगा, तुमने सपना देखा है ना, उस सपने को पूरा करते हैं. So this
she
is,
had.
yeah, this is the kind of stuff that I think every couple should read this book.
Yeah, because every wife wants a husband to be successful, but to
Sure.
actually allow mortgage of, no, there are women who have mortgaged their jewelry and things, but in many cases the men have then walked off with success. But this couple,
Yeah.
that's what God bless them.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's the
With,
couple's success
it is,
because
it is,
I
it.
remember long ago, and Narayan Murthy sir is mentioned in the book. He's given a very nice testimonial in the book. I had met Narayan Murthy sir once about 15, 16 years ago. He was speaking to an audience,
Hmm.
and he said that, you know, for some years you should live off your wife because it guarantees
Okay.
success in the long run. Because there was a time when he was trying to set up Infosys and
We
Sudha
know
was
that.
on earning. So he said, yeah, yeah, it's absolutely fine.
I
So
was reading his
are
blog.
couple success stories.
Everybody who doesn't know Sudha, she's an icon. That
Yes,
lady is iconic. She is awe-inspiring, very simple.
yes,
I was reading this blurb by Mr. Narayan Murthy. Rakesh success is important because it is based on his integrity. That
yes,
word integrity, yes. Other
yes,
than his obvious achievement, he is an icon because he has inspired millions of Indians to believe that cinema has integrity and soul.
yes,
And it has, but many people will not say that or realize, that making movies is not really that easy.
it's
Lot
not at
and lot
all.
goes
Yeah,
behind making a film, no matter what genre you're talking about, be it
yes,
suspense or fun movie, song and dance. But actually, now that you say Rita, I have a friend, couple, and even theirs is a love marriage. She's Gujarati, and husband is half Parsi and half Kannada. There was a time when she had to travel abroad, especially a lot. The husband was he was a house person working from home and taking care of the child.
okay.
So I do have people around me who are inspiring. I will definitely be happy to read. I think
Yes,
when wives and the husband they truly, truly, truly support each other's dreams,
yes,
things
absolutely. And in whatever way that works for them and whatever their equation is.
you find your comfort level and your
Yeah, in fact, there are so many anecdotes, in the film. And so, the last film, Mere Pyare Prime Minister before Tufan, I had the opportunity to sit down with Bharti and discuss the film. Ki, what made you make this film? Because this Mere Pyare Prime Minister mein, the lady is going out to answer nature's call and she gets raped because there are no
Hmm.
toilets, right? And then
Hmm.
her son writes a letter to the Prime Minister saying कि मम्मी रेप हो गई क्योंकि बाथरूम नहीं है, right? So I asked Bharti, what made you do this? So she gave me a very interesting perspective that what happens is rape is an incident, okay? But what happens after that is that society expects you to feel bad about your own life for the rest of your life. They expect you to feel the sorrow, relive the horror for the rest of your life.
for
But
no fault of yours.
for no fault of yours. Bharti said, I wanted us to make this film because she falls in love again. she finds love again, and the man is not looking at her like a rape victim. He just likes her for who she is. She's just another girl. And said that if we don't have the courage to tell these stories, then how do we make mindset change happen? So I think in so many ways, this is the success of the couple. Even though very much Rakesh ji is, of course, he's absolutely brilliant. No taking away from anything that he's achieved.
Awesome. So what really surprised you the most? I think more or less said it. Or there's something that you did not like?
Something that I did not like during the book? There was a sense of letting a part of you go when this went into print, because I had lived with this for very long. So that day, when it went into print, there was tremendous relief. See, because I'm working with a perfectionist. So, एक mistake भी नहीं जाएगा. So, on the one hand, there was कि I hope I have created something that is worthy of him attaching his name to it, right? Because this stays forever. And then, of course, there was a regret of letting that go. Because I felt that maybe I could go back and improve something. Did I miss the opportunity to do that? So just that.
How much can you improve on a perfect man like of his genius like? Okay, Rita, it used to be widely held belief that memoirs are like souls and that only you get one per person. Right. But today with so many inevitable things happening that people are doing, it's not normal for people to have more than one. What is your point of view regarding this, and what do you think prompts people to write another memoir?
See, there's a very nice saying that, what got you till here won't get you till there. Right? So this person that you are experiencing today through this book, this is the journey up to this point. And so much is going to change about this person. 10 years later, starting from maybe Tufan and whatever next he's making, there could be a completely new book. And I also believe that there are so many ways of looking at a person. So this is a very personal account. But somebody may want to do a technical account of his films. And I say, why not? Because if you look at, is there a film about is there a book about how Do Bigha Zameen was made? I don't know. Would students of cinema want to study how that film was made, how Mother India was made? So I think it is so important to document. And it is so important to have these memories, these instances, these learnings alive for posterity. So that 100 years later, when somebody writes a compilation of the best movies of Indian cinema, and Rang De Basanti most certainly will feature in that compilation.
I think all is, even Bhag Milkha Bhag, all his films are wonderful.
Most certainly. So how does that generation connect with this man 100 years later? Unless we document, preserve, proliferate, I think every biography is a slice of history. Most certainly. Whoever it is.
Yeah, what is today current will be history tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Or what is happening in our life. Many people sometimes they say, when they read histories, via sacred texts, aisa thodi na hota. It used to happen then.
Yeah.
See, when you read the books, maybe 3,000 years back, people thought like that, they lived like that. So today, when they are writing the movies that you see, sometimes people say, "Arey yaar, aajkal ka zamana aisa nahi. Hello, look at the black and white movies." There was one movie I think I saw, Wahida Rehman in westerns, black and white, बहुत पुरानी. She ran away from home, and I
Okay.
was, wow, my God, this is Wahida. And she looked so good. You know, पुरानी movies आप देखो, they were actually very forward. बोलते मैंने
Yes.
क्या नहीं तभी भी तो they used to have picnics and parties. Then friends used to arrange for special picnics and so that the lovers between them could meet. You know this
Yes.
wonderful song Sama Hai Suhana Suhana. Uh, it's picturized on Jalal Agha. He's
Ji.
actually arranged for his what's his name Rakesh Roshan and I think it was Bharti.
Acha. Nice.
और yeah, उनको मिलवाने I mean
Even if you
अरे
look
सब
back
कुछ
at times, where there used to be so much hunting, right? And one wonders, ये लोग hunt करने क्यों चले जाते थे? There was no radio, there was no television, there was no entertainment. You know, when you look at something and its context, its time in history, obviously nobody is saying that going out and killing another is a good sport. But at least when you look at the time in which it was happening, what the communication industry was like, what the entertainment industry was like, they were all non existent. And therefore, at least you can make sense of how that person was trying to pass his time. So, history, documentation, context, I think these are extremely important.
very very important. That's how we know. And plus, they were marks of bravery then. You know, even the cultural, be the dance forms, be the storytelling, the folklores. They were
Yes,
master stories even then. Not everybody could make it to the court of the king to
yes,
narrate a story. Even Kathak and all, I didn't know it was actually a males done by males
right.
as a story form. You know, in the temples, and later on it came to the palaces. But to enact and to narrate a story later on from verbal, it came to writing
Yeah,
and documenting, whether it was on tablets, on
yeah,
the pillars, to books,
yeah,
and now of course,
absolutely. Absolutely.
and now
And
of course we have cinema.
every person who is passing out of film school today and is thinking, where do I begin? Matlab, I don't have the funding, I don't have this, I don't have that. They need to read this book and know you don't need to have anything. You just need to have the drive, the purpose, and you just begin. Things will fall in place.
I was seeing the celebrity voices in the book.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone has narrated all the celebrities, be it Mr. Bachchan or Amir Khan, to Prahlad Kakar, to Vinod Bhai, all the stalwarts, Atul Kulkarni, Wahida ji. I mean,
Yes.
Sonam Kapoor, everybody. I mean, there's a list of people who have. I think that's what make the books a little different, very different from the other memoirs.
Mhm.
That's all a part of the biography. It's not just our author telling, कि मैंने ये किया, and this is what I did, and this is how I failed, and this is how I got up. This is how,
Yeah.
So I think that's what. And
Because it's so important to see the journey from multiple perspectives. And again, full credit to Rakesh ji, because obviously his office set up all these meetings for me. This was pre-COVID times, and as I said, we've been working on the book for more than 4 years. So most of these meetings were actually physical, in person, where there's a huge benefit to seeing the body language of the person when they are talking. So they all opened their hearts out about Rakesh ji, and obviously that made for such interesting. I interpreted it in my own way, in the sense that I retained everything that they were saying, but put it in the flow of Rakesh ji's story. So because it had to, you had to connect the dots. And the reader, if your reader holds your hand on page 1, they should not leave your hand till the last page. That is my job. That's always the job of the artist or the writer or the creator or whatever you call it. Because it's all very well to complain, oh my God, I wrote this and nobody is reading it. No, it's your job to make them interested. It's your job to hold their hand. That's what art is all about.
When I picked up the book, when I received the book, seriously, honestly, Rita, okay, another biography. I had a personal essay. It's about Rakesh Mehra. Um, there's some personal connect. They said, okay, let me read. And then when I opened the first was, I said, oh, okay. This was not written totally by him.
Mm.
And I flipped through. I said, then I started reading about every, because there's a curiosity,
Yes, yes.
What next? Now, what about the other book? What the other author is saying? What is the other actor saying? What is the other
Yeah.
cinematographer saying? They have their own perspective, and somehow it all connects. You don't feel anyway. I've never felt
Thank
यार
you.
ये कुछ और बोल रहा है, ये कुछ और बोल रहा है,
Thank you so much
and
for saying
then
that. It means a
that
lot.
is
It means a lot to
that is
hear you.
so it does. That is
And
that's
the
only
reader,
a little.
you retain the excitement. You keep breaking the boredom. In fact, one of the words that you said when you were introducing me was parenthetic narrative, right? So we keep breaking things into small parts so that the reader does not lose the attention span. I think this itself it was a very honest attempt, because as I said, the idea was to create something that Rakesh ji could live with for the rest of his life. His fans could live with for posterity. So again, the responsibility was immense. And with that great responsibility, here I had a man who gave me 100% freedom. You write it the way you want to. So,
His brilliance is definitely, he's such a master visual storyteller.
yes,
Okay, and okay, please let Rakesh know, with a brilliant mind like his, why the title Stranger. And I was reading the book and he had such wonderful titles. So, okay, he changed the name because some decided the people will need to find out the meaning. Oh, hello, we don't mind looking for meanings.
yeah.
What is the
You are a
Google
very
for? What
average
is the
book.
dictionary? And people like me, when if I found nothing, I'm such an avid reader since a child. कुछ नहीं मिलता, I would sit with the dictionary. I would, even now I love sitting with the dictionary. I
Right.
seriously love, and I'm amazed at some of the words that people, there are words like this exist and people write, the literary minds write it. And and I was thinking, okay, what's so strange about this guy? It's a very, very honest portrayal of what Rakesh Om Prakash
Yes,
Mehra is.
yes.
And it shows in his cinematic genius. Be the music, as he says, is not a musician when he has a ear for music. He just knows
Right.
what is right. I said, that is obvious from what we read, he lets a cinematographer does what he wants. He lets a screenplay does what he wants. He lets the
Yes.
actors do what he
Yes.
wants. He lets the co-author also write what she wants.
Oh, yes. Complete freedom.
Yes,
Complete trust, complete freedom.
that, takeaway from me is,
Let the people do their
for all
job.
your success, with every success, there is a pain. It is a part of life. You cannot have all the happiness without the sorrows. You cannot have success without failures. But what makes people successful different, people who are very, very successful, they take off with all the stones and sticks that are thrown at them. You have an option. You either sit and cry, "Patthar mare," or be like them, pick up the stones, they build a bridge and cross that river. They use the sticks, they build a ladder the same they can reach the pinnacle. And that's what people like Rakesh, there are many successful people who do not sit back and look at their failures, and take care. That's how they move ahead in life. I think we're coming to a close. It's been such a I wish. I mean, there's so much more to talk about the book and about discuss with
You're
you,
very kind.
but
You're very kind. Thank you. Thank you.
thank you. I'm so happy. Thank you so much for a wonderful afternoon. It has been. Thank you, Rupa Publications, for this wonderful book. And
Rupa
thank you, Rita.
has been so, their production team I must mention Yamini, our editor, Bena, our artist, Mohit, the caricaturist. They really gave this book everything. And, मेरी तरफ से तो सिर्फ वर्ड्स गए थे, पर उन्होंने जब वापस भेजा तो बहुत सुंदर किताब बन के आई.
I do know, I have helped proofread a book with some authors. And my first time was like, okay, and itni baar karke I realized, even from writing to actually publishing and bringing it into the market, there's a lot that goes behind. Writing is definitely easier. I think publishing the book and bringing it to the audience, to the readers, is hard work, lots of hard work.
Absolutely. And they have a fantastic team, I must say. Full
A
credit.
very, very warm thank you from Ahmedabad Book Club. It's the place for authors. Started as, initiative for authors, writers, readers to read and review and discuss books. I personally don't review books. Who am I to tell what the author should not have written and should not have written? But we discuss, we have book launches, young, old, whatever genre you belong to. So thank you from Ahmedabad Book Club. Thank you, Rita, for being conversing with me. Hopefully we have wonderful more. There is so much more to talk about. Thank you, Rupa, once again. I hope the viewers do read the book. You know about success and failures. You want to know much more about how to go ahead in life and use your failures as stepping stones. This book is amazing. And all the best to Rakesh. Mehra, please convey my best wishes for all. Biography, तो I think एक और आएगी before he still has lot more to come.
Yes.
Many more books. I wish he would make some wonderful ad films too. He still has it in him. As to all of viewers, thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you, Rita. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.